into other people's lives, the more transparent and open and just the more you're part of a community. Because I know we live in a world where Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and we have all these idolized, mentors and whatever you want to call it online, but that's not what it's about. It's about the into other people's lives, the more transparent and open. There we go. It's about the relationships, right? So just in case you didn't know, you're making a difference, you're making an impact, and I wanted to tell each and every one of you guys that because you are part of that 100%. So, in that spirit, Miss Barbara, will you pretty please check our hearts and then we'll get started?
Yes, I will. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we come before you, Father, thanking you, Lord, for all that you do and continue to do in our lives. We thank you, Lord, for your Holy Spirit that continues to guide us. We thank you, Father, that you will continue to protect us, Father, and guide us. Father, we thank you for your wisdom. We thank you, Lord, without you, Lord, we know none of this is possible. And we thank you, Lord, because with you, Lord, all things are possible. And we know we can stand on your word, Father. And we thank you, Lord, because we know that we put you first, Father, and we commit our what we do to you, Father, that you will continue to bless us, that we be a blessing to others. We thank you, Lord, for all that you do. We give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right, my beautiful people. So, one more fancy dancy announcement. Miss Melissa came on. She said, "Hey, look, she wants to focus on what she's doing on what do you call it, on Trade Locker. So she's going to take a step back, but she wanted to tell each and every one of you guys also that this is her favorite place to be, and she's coming back and all the things. So that's on all the people this morning. The people, right? People first concepts. But let's talk about these markets. 2 minutes into opening bell, kind of dragging a little bit of butt, which is fine because I didn't want to be in just yet, anyways. Yesterday, this was choppy. We had our target. We hit and smashed through that beautifully. I'm going to delete that. We even stalled there perfectly, exactly like we wanted to. We ended up coming down, breaking through, and validating this area, this pre-market low, which is now yesterday's mid, and ended up taking all the way down to fill that gap. That was 226 points-ish, if we remember from where we measured. That was a beautiful move. Obviously, real hard to get short if you weren't holding from anywhere up here because you don't really get any retests. And then once you do, you're in the chop. As of today, we are on NQ. Remember, you can kind of look at a lot of this stuff too and just see how comparable they are. Of course, we're not going to trade them as the same because that's a bad idea. You can follow whatever instrument you want. I'm not particularly trading a lot of gold. We're ramping up again. Hopefully get a little retracement this morning. But back to NQ. We are officially now on like the BX in bearish territory. Having said that, we have a lot of liquidity left behind. We've got a lot of orders. We've got a fair value gap slash imbalance right in this area. I would be looking for maybe a bullish move up to kind of at least take out yesterday's mid-range, regular trading range, mid-range prices, or fill into that fair value gap, which goes all the way up to the 166s. Um, so it's a decent little move to the upside that I would be looking for, and then be looking to sell down when I get a confirmation on that smaller time frame. That is what I want to see, but of course it's not what I want at all, and that's, the sad truth of it all. So we're now opening right now, but I've got time, so I'm gonna just, get slow to go fast. Get slow to go fast. Something we gotta tell Noah all the time because this kid is like speed lightning, but he's moving so fast he looks like he's spinning circles around himself sometimes. And he literally does. Literally. But talk about the bearish side while we wait for this first couple of minute candle to close. We are officially bearish. We still have not taken out. This is 50% of that kind of low to high, move, if you will. Not to mention this higher time frame trend to the downside. So that is a target I have. I would much, before I felt really comfortable in the sells, I would much rather come up and grab some this liquidity up to like the 166s ish, anywhere in that range before I got really excited about those sells. So that's the goal. We'll see what we get out of it. This is the 15-minute candle. We are clearly bullish at this time, but that's only the first 1 minute that's been formed now. So I'm going to go all the way down to the 2. Again, kind of leaning toward the 5. I know that's not very, viral or cool to watch. It's kind of like watching paint dry, but I think it's a worthwhile place to be. So we've got overnight highs. I did not mark up. I was so busy looking at the big picture. I forgot to mark up the little pictures. We've got overnight highs to take out now, which is kind of where we're going. Beautiful move. Big point move, but pretty. That 2 minute candle is wild though. That's going to be hard to get in on. Let me get my highs and lows all marked up. That should have been marked up pre-market. So we've got yesterday's high, we've got pre-market high, which we just took in all fairness, which is the same as really close. Yesterday's lows, pre-market lows are more here. So pre-market lows, overnight lows, yesterday's lows. We've got quite a few to take out, but again, I'm more bullish until we kind of come up to that 166 level, which is where we're getting now. Problem with trying to get long now is that's a pretty big stop loss. So might just have to be a little patient and wait. So we'll see. We shall see. I've got my, ooh, market's been open 2 minutes. I've got my Ninja Trader on. Make sure I'm mirroring the right account. Sure wish I was in that trade. I could have been. Shoulda, woulda, could have been. I knew where I wanted it to go, which is fantastic. Fan-stinking-tastic. You got your 2 minute breakout. Um, you got it. But this is that 50%. We just tapped into yesterday's RTH mid. That's where we're tapping right now. If we can kind of get, we've got 40 seconds left on this 2 minute candle, preferably some kind of a retracement and then move back up. I'd be looking for the buys. We said 160, we'll go 170s. That is a great target, but again, using that whole range, you're barely at a 1-to-1, just barely. So we want a bit of a retracement before we look for that. And that's going to bring us right into here. Is there any other, are there any other levels? We got midnight open is below us. 160s, 173 we might be able to get if we don't just steam right there. Looks like we're just going to steam pump it. 173 is going to be that target. If you're just taking it as a face value breakout, you're in a great position. If I had just taken it as a JGS retest, I'd be in a great position. I'm not in this yet, but this is the move I'm looking for. I'd like to see it come up into here, give us that proof of rejection. Think smaller time frame wicks and rejection. And then we want to flip from bearish to from bullish to bearish. And I would like to sell this down. We got a lot of targets to the downside, but we'll see. We do have another baby all the way up to the 215s. So I would love to get this move up just a smidge. That's a very light. But ES is now moving down. YM is moving down. Oh, wowzers. Maybe that's all we're going to do is take out the London and pre-market high. We took out the yesterday min. But if we are to continue buying, those are going to be our targets all the way up to 215 to kind of fill those imbalances. We don't have anything else to offer after that. We got a pivot point at 223, but everything else is selling, like big time selling. I'm going to wait patiently, very, very patiently. That's our retest. We've got 30 seconds left on this 2 minute candle. The good thing is if we decided to enter, we need this to kind of flip back to bullish now, but everything else is red. So I'm not interested in getting in that long. There's a move on gold. Because everything else is green, red, I'm not looking to take this as a long. I would need to start seeing some turnaround here or here, and we definitely just don't have any. But that's that bullish. We're starting bullish. I would like to start bearish to push bullish. not in love with this, but that is we're getting the continuation. So we've pushed above. I don't know if our VWAP is on, but we already know we're above it. But look at that nice candle rejection that we're getting right off that yesterday's mid. Yeah, still tanking. YM tanking. So I'm not looking for the longs here. I just can't get long in a spot where everything else is just tanking. Just can't do it. So patiently waiting, my beautiful people. What are you guys looking at? What instruments are you trading? I've got up the right Apex account. I'm mirroring Apex. Good morning, everyone. Hey, LMG. Hello there. I didn't know 287 was you. I'm glad I do know now. So we're just sitting still. We're technically above that 2 minute opening range. We're just now closing out on that 5 minute range is now done. We're still inside of it. I can't in good conscience go, I mean, that's still 50 some odd points to the upside, technically. No, 93. So 93 points all the way up into here, which without even having to break yesterday's high. And remember, tech is leading this, so I'm being smart. We're trying to. Yes, drop in, so I'm not looking for the buy. Well, I am just lost. We're almost at the lows. So we're taking the lows first on these other ones. I would like to come take the London lows and the Asian lows. And ES is NQ is going. Yesterday's lows. Potential 93-point move to the upside, all the way up into this 15-minute imbalance. It's the closest one near all-time highs. There's a pivot point right above that. We've got 223s for the most, the what is that, 15-minute pivot point. So there's a valid target. We broke out, we've retested. Your entry is here. We've got a valid, strong entry. I'm just not going to take it. So by all means, guys, you take it if you see it. I just don't want to be buying this when everything else is selling. I mean, this is obviously setting up divergence. I just don't know. It's funny because the NQ is doing exactly what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to buy so I could sell to scalp the buy. And likely the 20 points to the 160s, that's very easy target, even if it is with the divergence, but it's just not a risk I'm going to take. I'm trying to take better quality trades. But then again, when your bias starts to come in like this, that's where you get chopped up. Because if you're back testing, if you're proving your theory works, you're not looking at this bias that you have on these other instruments. So again, this trade would be playing out in your favor. You'd be up 10, 15, 20 points-ish on the breakout, on the JGS, on the break and the retest. All very great sound trade ideas, but I'm just not taking it. So you do you. And then, send me an ice cream or something because we are making money and I'm sitting on my hands. Let's see. I just don't love it. Why am I still losing it? Plus, the moves have been happening like at 11 o'clock. Okay. They wait till everybody's done trading. Everyone's spent their mental capital, their physical capital. They've taken their trades on the day. And then 11 o'clock rolls around, 12 o'clock rolls around. They're like, here you go. Here's the entire market on a beautiful platter. Ta-da.
Exactly.
I just, it's serious. I'm trying to be patient, guys, but I'm not waiting until like 12 o'clock either, though. I'm either gonna get my setups or I'm not. And I'm telling myself just because I'm a day trader doesn't mean I need to trade every day. So that's the next thing that I'm working on is just because I'm a day trader doesn't mean I need to trade every day. I know that sounds stupid, but it's not. It's so not. That buy would be perfect. A JGS would have been better, would have been quicker, but that's 40 points. Doesn't look like much, but I just can't in good conscience buy this when I saw what the others were doing. Guys, gold is trying to move again. 2 minute time frame. We're finally getting that pullback in it. Everyone tries to do, and everyone promotes that too. They're trying to promote like the bots and the EAs, and they're trying to run all the automation on indices and gold. I just think if I were to run on a high risk in this, instrument at all, symbol at all, it would be like S&P 500, US 30 because of how it lot sizes. I would do the least amount possible because they're just too hard. Some of those moves are so much, you just cannot. There's no keeping up with it. It just isn't there.
It's showing though there's FOMC on the calendar at I think 1 p.m. or 2 Central Eastern time.
But is it going to happen because of the government shutdown? I thought that all that stuff it's still showing, but isn't it all canceled?
A lot of the things in the calendar, from what I've seen, have updated or removed if they're no longer going in. But I don't know exactly to answer your question.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know, guys. We'll see. So FOMC is one of those that you cannot trade on your certain accounts. So be careful. I don't know.
That's a good question. I'll take it because even the last time I checked, the Top Step calendars haven't even shown events. They just show like where they would have been, and but it doesn't just no name of the event or anything.
I haven't been on Top Step in a while. Most of them going to be on Project X. Blue Guardian was just a better price in like because they don't have like that dead fast, 5 payout. Like I just felt like psychologically it worked for me a little better. Payouts obviously aren't as big, but I don't care. Like because it's simple. It was a good training ground.
Take Profit doesn't have anything shown on their calendar for today, the 8th.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't know. I don't. It's not on there. All right, guys. I'm potentially gonna look. This is gonna be an aggressive trade if I try to sell this. So hide indicators real quick. This is what we look like. 15 more minutes left on this 4-hour candle. We've come and retested 50% of yesterday's regular trading range and the current high to low, right? So that's awesome. Obviously, this next 4-hour candle can open, wick us up to that 215s, 223s is the next level, and then tank us down. So that's kind of the move I don't want to get stuck in. So I'm trying to sell, is I wanted us to finish that move to the upside, maybe take some of that buy and then sell down if we get the confirmations. Actually, we're pushing back up now. So this is again 4-hour picture. We're definitely going to close with some kind of a wick on this side. So we're only going to push up so much more. So not a whole bunch more. And if we do, we're going to push back down in the next 15 minutes. So 15-minute range is formed. We've got a bullish kind of imbalance to push us back up potentially. So I can aggressively take the sells. Oh my gosh, do I want to though? I can't. Guys, I can't. I'm not interested. Not interested in these moves. Again, we got our breakout if you're taking it. Again, JGS here, retest here. So you would have got in, somewhere in this area or after we continue past this previous candle. So that's your first. You got a second entry here. You got a retest here. This is another retest here. All of those are worth, 20 to whatever many points that is plus 60, 20 to 60 points-ish. And I'm not taking a trade. No position is a position. Look at all these things I can brainwash myself with. No position is a position. We got some divergence here on ES. I still think we've got a pretty solid buy all the way up to the 223s at the highest is kind of my biggest target from where we're currently sitting. I wanted the pump and then the dump, but we're not getting it. The ES is giving it back. YM is now giving it back. Ooh, I'm missing that move. A lot of them, actually. A lot of the moves am I missing. But I couldn't get short when everything started to tank here. I couldn't get long when everything else was selling off. Cool, so I waited. The time I got this, I just wasn't as confident. We've got 15 more minutes left on that 4-hour candle. We're getting ready to break the 15-minute range now. Again, I think we have at least 50% of the 15-minute range, which how many points is that? Hold on, 15%, it's 42 points. That's 42 points. It'll put us somewhere at the 205s. Is 50% of that 15-minute range. So it is not a bad trade idea. I just don't have a place to go right now for a stop loss. There's nowhere to put a stop. And where we did have good entry to put a stop, the other ones were selling. So sorry. No. YM just came to yesterday's trading range close. YM is still below it. ES and YM, sorry. This is going to be way far away. We're waiting. We are waiting. Okay, look at all these buys going on. We're currently sitting at yesterday's midnight open. I think we have all the way up to the 205s is going to be 50% of the 15-minute range. 223s is that next pivot point. We've got all these cool levels to the upside, but I can't take any of those until I get some kind of a retracement. I need some kind of a retracement back into the EMA. I would say back into this 50%, but now we've broken above it, retested from yesterday's 50%. So I like that a lot to keep buying up until proven otherwise. Only looking for buys until proven otherwise. And now we can't say, hey, these are holding us up because both of them are not so much. Actually, YM is not so much, but ES is the one that matters more to me. So it's still struggling. We got 9 minutes left on the first, 9 a.m. open, 9 a.m. candle. And we just cashed out that 1 hour imbalance, almost to the tick. The very tip of that is 176, 170-ish, somewhere in that window. We came real close to literally going on the other side of that, 172. We just ranged all night long, kind of for this upward channel, and we just now broke above that.
Yeah, that could have been where all the orders were piling up for that push to the upside. But like you said, it's struggling right now. It's pushing, but it's still not taking it. So it may need a little bit more time to marinate.
I just can't, guys, just so you guys, I'm not interested in getting long if it was going short. And we're still struggling on ES.
Well, that 4 hour candle from yesterday was fully engulfed the prior. So
Hey, look at that one candle, 220 some odd points. Man, that was a beautiful move. Feels like if you just buy overnight and sell in New York, you're probably fine. I mean, not every day. The last few days for sure. My big time targets is going to be down in here. I want to come take out this previous high. This is 50% from the biggest low on the daily. That's 50% of that. Not to mention we've got here too, which is down to the 24,900, 24,800s. But I need this pullback up first and then confirmation to sell down. So I missed the buys, guys. I wasn't confident on them. It was the move. Definitely was the move. But I couldn't call a buy if everything else was selling. So just so you guys know, as on the day you take this trade when everything else is selling and you win, you're gonna say, see, I knew it, I was confident, blah, blah, blah. But on the day you take this trade and then you lose it, you're gonna say, see, I should have known better because ES and YM were selling. So you never know which one it's gonna be. You're gonna do the best you can and go from there. So we got a nice another 2-minute retest. We have 7 minutes left on this 1 hour candle and 4 hour candle. So I'm not entering in at the last 10. So now wait, really wait. Got a long time to wait. Very, very much so.
waiting is a real game of trading.
And I'm getting better at it. Patience was not my virtue.
Oh,
Was
same here. Same here. Right here with you.
actually I shouldn't say it's not my virtue. It wasn't my strength. It should be my darn virtue though.
For sure.
Guys, I got YM up off screen. Well, US 30 more accurately, it is tanking. If you just see these two charts next to each other, NQ is going up like crazy, YM is going down like crazy.
That's funny. I
Completely.
took US 30 off of my charts. It was doing so completely the opposite. I was only trading primarily NQ that I was like, I can't even deal with having that analysis on my screen.
I can't. Well, I've got it up because I've got a auto trader on it. I'm running Dragonfly on it just to prove it can be done. Because US 30 is worth less than gold. A lot of people keep struggling with gold, but I was like, man, you guys are doing some wild things. I wouldn't put any instrument on the 2-minute time frame for automation. Like something that's gonna martingale in or like grid system in. God no. They're doing like 2-minute time frames on gold, government shutdown. Like there's no settings for anything that's gonna save you from this crap. The market's going crazy. There's nothing. It doesn't exist. This doesn't. But YM, because of the way Plexi and TradeSmart do their contract sizes, is digestible. It's enough to get like 0.5%, 1% a day. Well, cool. No, and you're not like overloaded on risk because it's such a small value.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Just such a small value. So, but we're doing the dang thing. Slowly but surely. Guys, I'm not in love. We got ES. Hold on, let me pull up ES. ES is just still stuck in that range. NQ buy would have been the trade of the day. We discussed it before it happened, and it was clean. I mean, technically, if we're not using anything else, this setup was clean. Like JGS, you have your first break. You broke previous structure. That's your break of structure. Cool. You've retested back into the MA. That's your JGS retest. Cool. You've got your breakout of your just breakout orb 2-minute strategy or 5. Cool. You've got your retest for people who follow that. Cool. You didn't really sweep like previous lows or any liquidity to the downside, so we can't call that. But you have like 100 reasons that said we should or could have bought anywhere in here. just the diverging of the other instruments was I was against it. So once we broke above the 50% of yesterday, we really got the confirmation here. We retested, failed to close back below at all, back into the range or anything, and just taken off. So easy targets coming up to the 50% of the 15-minute range. I'm not in a position, I'm flat. Not fun because I got no monies on any of this move. What a dummy. Ugh, so clean too, all the way up. So clean. That's okay. That's real trading. This goes with territory. Next, it's 240s. And we wait 225s. We could go trade ES, but ES is messy. YM, we don't even trade YM, so I don't know why I'm comparing, but gold's not following through. And that's it. So miss the buy. We can hang out and wait for us to get either a steep enough retracement. So think we need to retrace at least figure 30% of even just this move since opening. So that's going to put us back down into here, which is going to be a pretty big ask. We're probably taking out all of this. That there was an imbalance up here before we got that huge drop off at, what is it, 11 o'clock. That's probably where we're headed. And then again, you can't get short for not for a long time. Not for a very, very long time. But I am holding some buys on my trade locker account, so that's nice. They're not worth very much. I'm still working on all these contract sizes and the values of them. Like, because they have the mini and the micro technically, which is it's very strange how it shows the margin availability. I just did this thing with Hero FX because they said, hey, we'll give you 10 times the leverage. Well, I hate the way they promote it. They're making it look like, hey, this is better than a prop firm because you're getting $5,000 for $500, or if you spend 5,000, you're getting whatever 50,000 or whatever. But not quite, because you're still really only trading the level of what you're putting in. So your drawdown is what you put in. It's literally a different version of a prop firm capital. So you know how you buy a prop firm for $100, you get $3,000 worth of drawdown, but it looks like 50K. It's not 50K. You get 3,000 to work with. It's the same concept, just a little bit different, and there's no cost. And then you keep 100% of the proceeds and et cetera, et cetera. So I did it just to see how it worked. It's not bad. It just the math is different because I've gotten much used to futures contracts. The mini and the micro, I have no idea. So I have I don't even know, 57 mini contracts or some wild number like that because I'm still only using like 10% of my margin. So I was like, okay, so I can just keep putting more on. Um, just getting familiar. Don't laugh too much. Not too much. We're starting to slow down. No, as I said that candle popped up. Somebody in the Dragonfly chat just said gold is up 55% this year. That's insane.
And the funny thing is, they're not really talking about it, like as far as the media, all the finance channels and all that. I mean, that's a huge gain. That's a huge gain.
And no one is. They're all talking about all kinds of other things. No one's talking, hey, gold literally. I don't think it's done that in, I don't even know how many years it's been since that's happened. And you're right, no one is talking about it.
I mean, it wasn't too long ago. It was at what, like 2000, right?
It was. Well, when we traded it was still in the 2000s. Well, when I traded it was mostly in the 2000s. I mean, I know I've traded a few times in the threes, but not for the most part. Now look at that. That's the 205. We just hit that 50% of the 15-minute range. We got all the way up to what is, let's see. We've got 220s is the final 1 hour imbalance to the upside. It's a bearish imbalance from yesterday. What else do we have? We have yesterday's regular trading range high at the 237s. No, that's yesterday regular trading open. And then all the way up to 264. So let's take out some of these levels and look for that retracement play. So it's literally the only play. There's no way I can get long in any of this without an enormous retracement. So we'll see. We will see. We'll see. You guys. I was hesitant. Shouldn't have been hesitant. But again, the only reason I'm saying that is because today's price action was clean. Yesterday I wasn't hesitant and it was like welcome to the mental health line of trading. I literally feel like I forget who was talking about it, but trading makes you, pulls out the sides of you. And I know Melissa talked about it quite a bit, which I love that side of her because she's incredibly mindful. She's willing to like do the work that says, wait, what part of this, action is bringing out what part of me that I don't see kind of vibe. I mean, those are my words, but I love that because trading is just that. You might think you're not the problem or the market is the problem or your mental health is great until you go look at charts 900 hours of the day and then you keep making all kinds of decisions that you literally just cannot explain why you're doing the actions you're doing, which is 100% mental and emotional control. Like I don't get, it has nothing to do with what the market does. If you're taking actions and thoughts and behaviors that are outside of your what you perceive as normal or aligned with who you are, that is 100% mental and emotional health. 100%, guys. Here's our little bit of that 1 hour candle just open. We're 5 minutes into that 10 o'clock candle. We've swept the imbalances. We've taken out London high, overnight high, Asian highs, taken out all the imbalances from yesterday. But we are so bullish that it's real hard. Real hard. ES is ugly, but it's up now. YM, beautiful double bottom. For those of you guys who are YM traders, this is clean. We're outside of that breakout range, but you've got a beautiful double bottom that swept lows. We swept out overnight lows. Beautiful. So a lot of potential on YM. And gold is trying to push up again. Okay, whatever. It is what it is. This is still pushing up and I can't go long, so. Whatever. I am not up a lot on the day. I had a little trade in my PA account, $200. Not much to write home about there. Mostly because I have the PL, the personal loss limit set on that to only 400. It's my oldest PA, so I'm babying it. It's my oldest one. I'm talking through all the copy trader glitches where, hey, it switched 3 micros to 3 minis kind of thing when using all the copier stuff, not to mention my own personal bad choices. So it's a healthy mix of both, I promise. But either way, my longest standing PA that's not on Project X, so I want to keep it. So I really baby it. Only once have I went in and like upped the personal loss limit from 400 to 600. I did that, I think it was this week or last week. And of course I lost the 600 because once you go in there trading like that, you typically do. Other than that, I took one trade on an account I needed $50 in. Funding next is kind of cool. The target is smaller. And you can technically, I didn't know this. So I didn't know because I hadn't really been trading with them in that same way, but you can technically withdraw after like 3 days, 50% of whatever you made, which is not bad. And there's no like minimum of all the things. So it's kind of cool, except for the 40% rule, which I wasn't super prepared for. So I just kept upping it and didn't know. So now I'm working on creating that smaller buffer there, trying to utilize all the daily loss limits and targets as well, where I can. Take profit traders. I'm running 4 of them. 3 of them are funded. Well, one of them is pro plus, 2 of them are pro, one of them is an eval. One of them is a 25K eval, so that's my first time using that. And just a couple of other firms on here. I'm really liking Funding Ticks and Take Profit Trader the bestest. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm being much more confident with the, hey, it's a couple $100. That's what I got today. Great. If there were more setups, great. But if I'm going to trade all of the accounts, I want that to be the, 2 to 3 trades at the max on the day. And then worst case scenario, if I do need to go back in where there is another setup, I'm going to put it on one account only and not mirror them between all the accounts because that's just over leveraged, unnecessarily over leveraged. So that's where I'm at. I've got some funding tick pro accounts. Those aren't bad, but I bought the cheapest ones that only let you withdraw 1,000. So now I kind of hate them because it's, again, you're kind of stuck. There's literally nothing you can do but forever trade them or blow them. There's literally no other option. Because even if you build a huge buffer, you can never withdraw more than that. And that's kind of silly. But we're working on it. We're getting a nice little system in place. Slowly but surely, little by little. Little by little. I don't think I'm going to stick with Tradeify. I think when I'm mirroring, they are the least performing, and I'm talking between about a dozen different prop firms. Same trade, and I know that there's slippage, I know that there's variance. Sometimes all the accounts are a little different, but when I say they are the farthest off and almost always to the negative, like because sometimes some of the accounts are to the positive, right? Which is what slippage should be. I know that the axiom of trading is not typically tilted in your favor, but either way. Like for me, they're just so far off. So we'll see. I still have some accounts with them that I won't like cancel that will rebill. Uh, I think I only have 2, and then I have my funded account with them, but it's just I don't think I'm gonna continue to pursue that at all. But I wanted to try it, so that's what I did. That would have been a great trade. And we called it before it happened, as it was happening, but didn't take it. 107 points to the upside. No drill down either. 0 drill down had we taken this trade. Really?
Yeah, it's interesting. After such a sell-off yesterday, you would have expected a little bit more resistance than what we got this morning. So
But this is what the market does to you. The market like gives you a day like this where it's like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then this day happens. It's harder to see this take it at face value. I knew exactly what I wanted today. I wanted the market to do this. I don't know.
well,
I
if
was,
you're going to the upside, you wanted something like, some sort of retest, a little bit of a rejection, and then continuation to the upside for the confirmation that we're back into a bullish bias. But yeah, you got none of that. I mean, still technically hasn't taken out that high, but that's a lot of buying pressure there.
it is. Well, in all fairness, if I get over me, we did. Like, so this is granted on the 1 minute, but we broke out 1 minute. This is overnight highs. We broke out, retested beautifully, and even retested again. So we got several retests. This is regular trading range 50. We got the breakout and the retest. We did, but when all of this retest and kind of like, cool, I'm trusting this to happen was happening, these were tanking. So I wasn't confident of taking this buy. Like, and I'm not on the 1 minute either to see this either. In all fairness. Look at that. Like we
Yeah, and then now SPX is following suit. They just had the last 15-minute candle was just huge.
look at that. Wild. Okay, well, I don't think I'm going to take a trade, and if I do, it's not going to be for quite a while because it is 10:11 right now. Big picture, I'm not really trading ES. I'm trading mostly just NQ. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the indicators, hide indicators. If I'm looking for a trade, we failed. So overnight, we really consolidated all night. We haven't taken yesterday's lows. So the next major liquidity draw is going to be to take the highs. But I can't take any buys until we get like at least, thinking 30% of a retracement, right? So I'm confident of the buys at this point to come and take this high. Cool. I see it. I agree, etc. Before I look for any sales to the downside, but obviously not here. This was a missed opportunity. I'm not even going to call it that. I had a valid reason for not being comfortable with those buys as everything else was selling. Can't go back and change history. So cool. Um, we're coming up, we've already surpassed all of those. We surpassed all of those major levels. So even, what is it? Yeah, every imbalance is taken. We're like right below yesterday's, so RTH open from yesterday, which is at what is it, 237, and then we've got 264. So the 15-minute range was perfect today, the 5-minute range was perfect today. But at this point, I would need something that looks like, where's my drawing tool? I would need a big enough retracement back down to come up and take the highs. This is where my question mark would be to say, okay, do we break and retest to continue higher? And if not, after we get our confirmation up here after taking this liquidity, okay, wait for all those confirmations, and then I'm selling down back into this area. So this move is going to be great if it happens. This move is possible if we can get the confirmation, but we've already missed this one. So this one's gone, it's missed. But I would need to see something like this. So this up move is probably enough, 40, 50 points, plenty enough for me to go take it and get my monies and be happy. But I can't take this buy until we get a big enough retracement. And even then, since we've filled all those key levels, we haven't filled liquidity, but we filled all the key levels. And we're technically bearish on the day. The BX volume has got us bearish on the day. So can buying work for the whole day? Sure. But statistically, in theory, we're going to close close to here. So, and that doesn't mean it will happen today, just more often than not, like by 80%, we should be closing bearish or flat. So, not in love. Got a lot of hours left on the day. Got a crap ton in there. But today's, whoever was buying made a crap ton of money. That's 105 points straight to the upside. No drawdown, no nonsense, no nothing. Woohoo! They're going to be posting on Instagram and TikTok and X. See, I knew it. And that's awesome. I got none of that. So I'm happy with my decision. I'm happy with my discipline, most importantly. The discipline is what I'm working on caring about more than anything. Is just saying, hey, is this the action I wanted to take? And if it's aligned with what I'm trying to accomplish, cool. If not, cool. But
I
this is
think
gonna be,
I think FOMC is happening because they still have it. Top Step still has it on their calendar. I went back on the stream at the beginning when they talk about the news, and it's looking like they have it set to show. So apparently they're going to be airing it at that 2 o'clock hour.
so maybe FOMC pushes this up, takes the liquidity, and then we sell down.
Potentially. I
I
mean,
don't
the
know if
big
the
move.
Fed is actually a federal appointment or whether it's paid by the Fed. They're basically bankers. One of the banking industry is doing their pay.
So almost like the reserve, totally separate.
Yeah,
Okay. So
I
that would
don't
make
know.
sense.
I don't know for sure, but and of course this is just the meeting minutes. But the
Hmm.
meeting's already happened. It's not the foul speech. Powell speech. Sorry about that. That was not a political statement.
uh,
That was a slip of the tongue.
Too late, Powell, huh?
1 hour candle, guys. Still got 46, 43 minutes left on this candle to flip to bearish, but if FOMC is happening, maybe we kind of stay in this range above the 230s. Well, sorry, 130s. Come all the way up here to the 300s. That's 100 and that is so many points. 160 point range. So we'll see. 180s to kind of come back down. Isn't that so? When you back test, this is the trade you won. This is the one that you have on your little spreadsheet that says, see, I got my 9 to 1. This is it. 5 minute time frame. We bought up 109 points. Even using that, that's whatever. 6 to 1 to
I
2
mean,
to 1.
it was a really good position to anybody who had bought at the market open with all that structure that was there from the accumulation over the Asian and London session. So if you use that as your stop loss, hoping that, at least half of that would have been filled, that would have been a good entry point. But once it left, then at that point, it's hard to actually get in and then put a adequate stop loss on there.
It is. Well, I bought some of this move. I bought some of this move. We have this structure that was forming out. We rejected again. Again, I just needed a little bit on my PA on the day, trying to keep my, average consistency nonsense. So I bought some of this pre-market. I knew where I wanted to go. I at least wanted to take these highs, but we took them and was like, peace, peace. Guys, there's a lot of imbalances to the downside. We're sitting at a 15-minute pivot point, which was the 225s-ish. And there's nothing I can do at this point on NQ. Because again, for me to get long, I need at least some amount of retracement. And just for measured moves and for conversation purposes, I'm looking at the 150s to 180s even. Ooh, I was close on the 180s. I knew that was going to be 180. So anywhere in this range, potentially get a retracement, improve rejection on that smaller time frame, buy back up. But we've got FOMC later, missed the bigger part of the move. We're bearish on the BX, meaning we should be looking for sells. There's some higher time frame divergence there. So I don't mind. Again, being right is not enough. Being right is not enough. I'm still carrying a couple of my bajillion contracts. Don't worry, they're baby contracts on Trade Locker, but I'm closing all those out slowly but surely because we'll see. And that's it. We're pulling back now, but I'm not going to scalp that down. That's just a revenge trade. Senseless trade. That imbalance brings us into the 182s. That's a 2-minute imbalance. I don't even think it's present. Well, I guess it is present here. So potential sell to here. If you really need your quick trade, obviously you'd be doing micros. This is an aggressive, unnecessary trade. We took out levels, but no liquidity. It's 26 points to the downside. 13 to 15 point stop. I'm going to give you ish a 2 to 1. It's already pulling back up though. But there's no confirmation here. There's no reason to be buying this, or to be selling it for that matter, but definitely no reason to be selling. $26 points here. 1 hour candles forming a nice wick to the upside. I don't think there's any. $174s. I think we break 174s in the next 40 minutes. I could do options. No, not really. I know nothing about options. I'm just talking fluff now. I think in the next 40 minutes, we take out 174. When and how, I don't know. Whether we go up or down first, I don't know. I'm not in this. Full disclaimer. Still not in this. Wish I was in that though. Regret. FOMO. There's no fear of missing out. We did miss out. I did definitely miss out. Nope, the fear is done. It's already there. I did miss out. I could take this on one account, but I'm not taking this setup on all the accounts. That's stupid. That's unnecessary.
Okay, well, I got to shut down my charts and walk away because I've already blown through my daily loss limit. And I'm
Breath.
seeing a trade shaping up and I can't take it. So have a
Hey,
good day, everybody.
all right, Scott. Hey, we love you. Take care.
Bye, Scott.
Okay, bye-bye.
Well, thank you for being the light, because I mean that right there was encouraging. So now I don't have to fear this missing out so much because I also didn't do that. Boom, smacking that. I mean, sometimes it's all in perspective.
That's actually pretty dope what he did, and that he sort of knows that he has to take himself away from the situation, so you're not forced to do something that your mind or your body will naturally be inclined to do.
100%. Guys, we just hit that small target, that 23-point target. And then we've got, I think we're gonna take out 174s, which is the low of the current candle, current hour candle. But back to Scott, guys, that takes effort. It takes a lot of work to be, quote, on a Zoom like this and just not take a trade. Whether it's him as an attendee or me as a, up here talking, it takes a lot to say I'm not going to take a trade. It takes a lot to say, hey, wait, I did take trades, right or wrong, followed my plan or not, and I'm done because I've hit my max on the day. Like I've hit it and I'm done. So that's a strength that we all need.
For sure, for sure. It's sort of like one of those things that in trading, that if you're not at that point yet, eventually you're gonna learn.
Well, you're gonna learn it one way or another. I think we're gonna hit this target sometime in the next, what is that, 37 minutes. But as in terms of like confident play, I just don't have it. I don't have the confidence to go take my position on my accounts. And actually, a no trade day would be better than the red day. And I got some red days, guys. In all fairness, no excuses. They're not all my fault. Some of them are the just trying to make all the copy software work properly. And that is 100% honest, and I can prove it. Like, hey, wait, these literally in switched from micros to minis and hits your loss limit on that day or blew an account on that day. But either way, I can still average, probably 3 red days a month, 3 to 5 red days a month. That's about one a week. Okay. That's very honest. Add that to tech problems, that's, 3 to 10 a month. So learning the cost of those bad days versus just sitting out maybe is something to talk about. So nothing, nothing, nothing. On the day, I've got the little PA trade I took for $200.20. And nothing else. Nothing else to write home about. Pulling up my FX book. Not my FX book, my TradeZella.
How do you feel about the idea of those who, like, let's say in the morning, maybe you didn't fire all your shots as far as trades, or you didn't take any positions, and then taking that few hour break, so every you can, I guess, sort of decompress, and then coming back in the afternoon session, and then looking for another valid entry if it appears.
I like that better than like, so wait, my first choice is have your one session and be done. Like that's my first choice. And you guys can all please, if anybody on here wants to chat about it, please come on out. Like that's what we're here for, is to chat about it. But my first choice 100% is that. It's your one session, you found your entries, got your entries, or you did not. You won, you lost, or you whatever. It does not matter, the good, bad, and the ugly, and then walk and be done. That's 100% first choice. Second choice is um if you're going to, like, let's say something like this happens and whatever, you were right, but missed the trade. Maybe you went to the bathroom. I don't know what happened, but whatever, you missed this. Or you, in our case, didn't want to take it because everything else was selling. I think right now, whether we want to acknowledge it, and some of us have the strength to be honest about our emotional standpoint, right? And I'm being 100% honest. I don't care who you are. I think 1 to 2% of the people have the ability to have this happen and not have any emotions in their body. I think 90% of people have some emotion built up. Whether or not we acknowledge it, it's there. My opinion, 100%, it's there. So whether or not you took the win or the loss, whether or not you took the no trade and then had the regret, I think the whole taking a break and going for your walk, going to do your chores, going to do your other businesses, your other jobs, take care of something and come back in probably no sooner than 30 minutes. Okay. 30 minutes would probably be my minimum, and do something that literally does not look at price. Even if, let's say in the next 30 minutes, this does perfectly exactly what we want, and it's, well, crap, now I missed the second move. Then it's another 30 minutes, okay? Like it has to be 30 minutes until you come look on charts again, or I think a few hours would be better, but my minimum would be 30 minutes. So I like that a lot, but it would still be my second choice in comparison because I just think I think there's a lot that goes into this that not enough people are talking about. They talk about discipline, they talk about confidence. They talk about rules and strategies and all the things. And the problem is, again, every viral YouTube has round the clock person now who's trading or looking or discussing at the markets. So we're always exposed. And that's cool because you see somebody go on there and they scalp for 5, 10 points 100 times and they're winging it. Or the one guy who I like a lot as a person, like from what he represents, I'm not going to say anything good or bad, but is micro scalping for, I don't know, 8 hours, just in and out, 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 in and out. He is part of the point zero whatever percent in the world that can do that. Most other people are blowing and making all kinds of dumb decisions doing that. So for me, yeah, I would agree that whatever your rules are, you're taking a trade, whatever that looks like, or you missed the trade, whatever that looks like, and then you've got to go. You got to go do your up downs. You got to go do something else, your workout, go to the gym, but go somewhere else and then come back if you have to, if you need to.
Yeah, very good point. I think even I think I might have an idea of the guy you're talking about with the microscoping, but the reason I'm bringing him back up again because I think even he, if he like tilts or he something happened or if he like little accounts because I think he rotates like a lot of accounts that he microscopes.
Yep.
He'll take a break and
Yes.
then come back. He'll say that I'm not in the right mindset. I need like 5 or I need 10 minutes, guys. I'll be right back.
And I think that's healthy. Like, I think that's very healthy. I can even tell you if I take a loss, my next trade, and that's the problem too with the whole reverse button. I think, let's say for whatever reason we tried to sell and I reversed back into this, my psychology isn't as good as it would have been to carry me through here to here and then to here. So again, for whatever reason, let's say I was playing levels, we broke the level, I tried to take a sell, turned out to be wrong. So instead of closing, I reverse. Obviously, this trade ends up buying beautifully. But the truth is, in this, whatever this is, this 20-minute period, my psychology doesn't carry me to here. My psychology will carry me maybe here. And then by then I'm like, oh my gosh, what if we stop? It's not the same trade as if you were clear-headed. What you're doing on these charts aren't the same trade. Here, let me speak about myself. Is what I'm doing on these charts is not the same trade if I'm mostly clear-headed. It's not, it doesn't matter. I know the setups in the market is different every day, but it's not the same trading behavior as if I didn't just take this loss when I went to go to take this buy. My psychology is different. My room on my account is different. My belief, my confidence, my discipline is different to hold through all of this and to say, no, I'm still targeting whatever those levels I was targeting and discussed were. It's just different. Having now took a loss, I'm trying to trust this trade. I'm like, see, okay, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be whatever. And you got to think if I sold literally at the tip, got out at the tip, by the time I get here, I'm still not break even after fees. Then it pulls all the way back down to here, and now I'm about to hit 2 full-size losses. The psychology just doesn't carry me from this to here. I mean, at best, I might have been out probably somewhere in here. Like I can't. That's all I'm gonna get on the day. I'm break even. And then now that I've spent all this emotional capital, just talking price action, I've spent took the loss. It hurt. Took the reverse. Okay, I was technically right. It's cool. Like that's awesome. I'm literally almost break even. I think the vast majority of people are not, it's a lot of psychological and emotional energy that goes into, you get to hear and you're like, okay, now I spent all this emotional capital and time, and people want to go find their next trade. So now that whatever's happening, they're trying to say it's a different trading psychology. And we all think that we don't fall to that, but we do. We 100% do. There's just no way around the fact that it impacts us more than we maybe care to think. It does.
Yeah, absolutely. And then trading an instrument like NQ with minis and whatnot, and seeing hundreds of dollars move and fluctuate in a matter of seconds is can be a lot.
It is. I like the micros for the reason that like you're in 3 micros and cool. On the single account, you're seeing $100, but the big picture, you're seeing maybe 1,000 or 2,000. But when you're on the mini, you see per little movement 50, 100, 200, 300, 500. What the hell? Ah! And all of a sudden $800 is gone. And it was so quick. So quick.
Absolutely. And then with a prop firm account, people who are trying to do that, like heavy scalping on a prop where you only have a 1,500 to 2,000 drawdown. I mean, imagine in one candle you're losing almost half of your drawdown, right?
That
That's gonna kill you mentally.
Well, thanks to your inspiration, I have a couple of 25K accounts. I think they're worth looking at because what particularly with Take Profit Share, let's be specific. The cost is not that big of a difference. But what is it, 1,500 or 1,250? I don't know. 15, I think it's 1,500.
It's
So
1,500
yeah,
drawdown, yes.
$1,500. So that means you're averaging, you can make up to 750, right? And if you're averaging a couple $100 a day, okay. To me, especially trading micros, I think the math works better there. So figure if I take, I'm going to go to MNQ for this discussion, but let's say I take long position. Cool. Whenever this is where we were at, let's say we had not a favorable fill. Okay. I have a 20-ish point, 25-ish point stop loss, which is plenty. Okay. 20, I'm trying to keep my stop loss somewhere in that range. Obviously, some days the market is a little wider, so it's not as possible. But let's say we averaged a 1 point, I'm going to do 1.5 just because it's easier math. Okay, there we go. Let's say one, and I always lowball it here because I need the room on the fees. But that's going to give me about 3 micros. Okay. So after fees with a 25 and I'm lowballing this because I know I need about 30 points of room. So I'm targeting 25. Because again, there is a little bit of spread slippage. There's a little bit of room here, guys. I'm trying to lose less than $200 per trade. So I have about 3 micros. I could technically push it to 4 if the, stop loss happened to be a little tighter and the market was just, it depends on the market and the day, obviously. But on most of these accounts, this math just maths better, I think, long term. Because again, let's say you win this trade, $200 risk. What is that? Sorry, 175 is going to give me about what, 250, 275-ish. That's one trade. If I lost two, I've still lost less than $400, which gives me almost 4 days, 4 losing days that I can handle. And I can take 2 trades like this in a day, be totally fine. Okay. So to me, the math is just perfect. Whereas as we get to those 50K accounts, especially with something like Apex, you've got the 750, the 3,000, the trailing drawdown. There's so many factors that I think really start to trip you up. And then the other brokers all have like the 40% consistency rules, which that math is easier to do. But that big prop firm spreadsheet I was making, once you get past the buffer on the buffer, because remember I told you guys I'm doing a buffer on a buffer, because it just makes sense to me now that I'm no longer looking for the buffer. I'm looking for the buffer on the buffer before I withdraw because I kept withdrawing once I got past the buffer and then I lost the account. Made one withdrawal past the buffer, lost the account because I just didn't have the same room. It changes the drawdown amount. So having said that, then it's completely scalable. So from there, all you have to do is you're moving up. As you get close to 7 micros, you want to go to minis, which is where I'm stuck at now with the mirroring that I'm doing. I can't go to minis on all the accounts and I'm paying more fees on the micros, and that sucks. But I also I have more room. So I can't, I'm back to trying minis to micros again. Hopefully they don't have any more switched contracts, but we'll see. Um, that's kind of the plan. I just think it's very, very scalable. The 25K accounts are scalable because it doesn't change that you can make 10 grand in a day. It doesn't change that at all. Once you have the buffer, it's there. Once you have the room in your account, it's the same money. And I think it slows you down enough to get the skill set because the whole pass in one day, make 3 grand, it's, believe it or not, very easy. Put two minis on, catch this move, you're done. Like that move right here. I don't know for sure, but I'm 90% sure. You got this move, tight stop loss, all the way up. Actually, how much is that? That's already 6 to 1. Yeah, you've already made your profit. You made it this one move, not even the whole move. You caught the entire, say you're risking for $400. Because remember, we're on minis. One contract, you've got a 6 to 1 on $400. You've already passed your account already. On one contract, you put two minis on, you got half that move. You passed your account. So I like it. We'll see. It's really hard because I've got different sizes accounts with different rules and different prop firms, and just trying to make a melody. Trying to make a melody is all I'm working on slowly but surely. So,
But
guys,
you're sure, definitely right. That those it'll add up though when you have multiple accounts and just those small moves or small amounts. Even if you're keeping them status quo with like all micros, and eventually transitioning to the minis, even the micros compounded with multiple accounts can do a pretty big heavy dent. So I definitely agree with your analysis on that.
guys, yeah, we got to start thinking about it. We're like, oh, well, I want to make $10,000. Like, I want to make let's say 5,000 a month. I want to make 5,000. But right now you're spending, let's say 500 to 1,000. Remember, just s slowing down on this to where you're blowing less, okay, and maintaining that already cuts into what is that 20% of this. So if you start to think about the cost of what you're spending, stopping the mistakes is already a 20% increase on what you're doing right now. And no one thinks about that, but stopping the mistakes of blowing the accounts is a 20% increase towards your goals. You're 20% closer to your goals based off of this math, right? Spending 500 to $1,000 a month. Stop the blowing these accounts and doing the constant resets, just maintain the count a little bit longer. You're 20% closer to your goal. Literally 20% closer to I'm trying to make $5,000. Cool. And then the following month, now you can maybe spend a little bit less than that. You got your first 1,000 payout. You're 40% closer, then you're 30% and 50% and 70 and back to 50. This is not hard at all, with especially something like Top Step, Take Profit Trader, Blue Guardian, Funding Ticks. This is reasonably easy to do. Like it's not that hard, but we can't get here if we're blowing this over and over again, because then by the time like 10 months pass, you're 50K from break even. Well, let's be more fair. Y'all are probably doing less accounts than my crazy butt, so you're 20K from break even, okay? That's a lot. You're being 20K. So just let's work on not blowing this, okay? Let's just not blow that. And that's it. But guys, we are coming up on the top of the hour. It's almost 11 o'clock. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, questions, comments that you want to go over, I'm 100% here for that. Put it in the chat or come raise your hand or come on out. Jonathan, thank you for being you because you definitely make the biggest difference. But that's it. I don't have a bunch more. Point of control is right up here where price is currently sitting. I don't have
I have a
any.
mini micro question. Sorry.
Go ahead, come on out, Robert.
Um, have you retested affordable indicators since they came out with their big update that they announced a week or two ago to
That
see
was
if that
only
see if that resolved your issues?
that was only in terms of rhythmic.
Oh, never mind then.
I am trying it again. I'm playing. Oh, huh. Sorry about that. Let me mute that. I am back to testing minis to micros. Again, the problem is it works for 7 to 10 days, and on the day that it doesn't, it makes a big enough mistake that in general it'll blow at least some of the accounts that didn't have protection set at the perfect area. But the things I'm testing right now are the exit shield and multiplier versus quantity. Those are the things that supposedly make the biggest difference. So wait, I guess three things. Exit shield is number one. So I didn't find this out until recently, but if the exit shield is on, you can't do quantity, you have to do multiplier. Supposedly, multiplier is more accurate. Okay. And then you have your order rejected handling setting. Every time I have that turned on, I get worse order fills. Like it will, when I close the cell, it takes a buy. Okay. And that doesn't seem like much, but think about it this way. If you're trading micros, let's say you close um the sell for $40. So you sold, and it's not a lot, let's just say it's $40. So you sold some of it, right? It's not a whole bunch, but if you did that on a couple micros, that's your $120-$200 trade. The problem is when you close this, it immediately, remember there's fees and there's gaps. It immediately opens the buy, okay, at the same level of positions or more, depending on multiplier. And so this was $40, but since you see it and you close it immediately, this is down $20. Okay, sometimes more depending on if this is selling aggressively, right? If it's selling aggressively, it's probably down $40. So it opens this up. This is sustainable, but if it swaps the contracts, again, you sold the micros, for let's say plus 40 and it hits your take profit, market is selling fast. Some of the accounts swap the contract and open some buys. This no longer closes at, let's say, negative 40-ish dollars, which is about break even. Not quite because fees are always against you. This now closes, this opens the buy in minis, okay? And remember, it's a multiple of minis. This will be down like $600. And I'm not even kidding, especially if this is selling hard and it just hit like a take profit. So I can't tell exactly what all the issues are. I want to talk to the owner and say, okay, look, let's talk about it. Like literally, I would give the guy 10 grand because it's still less than what I'm spending. Like, I'm not kidding you. Because I don't know if it's limit orders. So if I think hitting take profits is a problem. When it hits take profits, it's a problem. If it hits my trail, it doesn't seem to do that. But when it hits a take profit, it does seem to do it more often. But limit orders could be one of them. Take profit could be one of them. Order rejecting is one of the things that I'm still struggling with because when I have it turned on, it seems to work worse. I have turned it on to market, I've turned it on to limit. I don't understand, but this makes it work worse. Remember, every day you have to try this. I've tried it against sim trading, but since sim trading, I can only test that on Ninja. Sim to sim seems to operate just fine. Okay. Sim to sim, I don't have any of these problems. I've tested all of these things sim to sim traded on the platform of Ninja, never have the problem. But trading on Tradeovate and then two other Tradeovates, this is where the stuff is coming in. So order rejecting is one of them. Multiplier is seeming to be better than quantity. I think it's just the math is quicker and easier to handle. The exit shield is quicker. The next thing I want to test is what if I just enter on Ninja? My bracket order comes from Tradeovate. And then yeah, you guys, I'm in this, okay? I'm invested, okay? 100% invested. But my bracket order comes from Tradeovate to see if that is going to cause anything. Because maybe that order is going to be better handled. But if you think about it, the exit is still going to come from Tradeovate, so the exit could still be the problem. So there's quite a few things. I'm 100% open to any feedback that is constructive. I am pretty close to unwilling to buy another service because all of the services, it's not just the money. Like again, I would pay a crap ton of money if I can make this all work the way it's supposed to work. I'd pay an obscene amount of money because then I'm gonna go tear up the market and do some amazing things. I'm very confident of that. Not like no maybe baby. I know that I know what I can do. Having said that, most of these services, it's also the time. Something I trade Syncer, Traders Connect. I love Traders Connect, but I'm not going to put 20 accounts on there with the amount of time it takes and then go in and manually change all that information regularly. Oh my God, no. No, my time is worth way more than that. Like I'm better off just going back to FX if I have to spend that much time every week doing that. And that's what I was doing with Trade Syncer. There's a few companies that I just think were outrageously priced and underpowered, underpriced and underpowered. average priced and crappy service, like 100% no. So Trade Sinker said, hey, we've got some new features. I said, hey, if you haven't fixed the ability to kind of just log in and then have all that stuff, I don't care. Like, I don't care. The one of the people called me from there. I said, I don't care. 0% do I care because it's too much time. Way too much time. You have to go in. Here's that cell back down, guys. You have to go, there's just so much to do and manually, and there's such a lag. You have to click this, click this, click this, click this. And that's literally, it's like 8 to 12 hours a week, something like that. And then I was like, yeah, no, I canceled. I don't want anything to do with this. I can't talk to you anymore. Yeah. Anyways, so we'll see. Guys, we've got a sell potentially setting up. I do again think we're going to break the 174, which is about 15 points from where we're at right now. It is not a bad trade setup. It is an aggressive one. We're going to get the last 10 minutes of the hour. I think we've got a nice tail to the upside, but anything can happen. So trade it accordingly. Um, we've got our little double top formation. We haven't failed to take out lows. We have failed. It is a 37-point stop. Gives us about a 30-point stop. Maybe come back into there. I think there's a bigger picture sell coming, but we'll see. We've got FOMC today from what Top Step says and go from there. But Robert, that's all I've got on affordable trading tools. I'm really scaling back, so the mistakes aren't as mistakey. But again, if it flips to minis again, I can't maintain those accounts in the way that I want to, in a way that makes sense. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it at all. So I probably won't. But for now, that is my major goal, is to be able to trade. Hey, if this account I have room for 2 minis, or this account I have one for 4 micros, I want to be able to type that in, trust it. I think Replicanto, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Hey, good
You.
morning.
Good morning.
Hey, real quick, my chart is not the same as yours. So, the gray box that I'm seeing on your chart, I don't have that. How do I, is there an update
This?
or something I have to do? Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Oh, I drew
And
that.
some of the trend lines also.
Oh, I drew this.
Okay, the trend lines you drew that, but what about the gray boxes?
I drew that. I drew that.
Oh, you drew all of that. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So right
I
now
thought
this
I was,
is just he's like, wait, I'm missing stuff. Let me go to hide all.
yeah.
This is naked.
Mhm.
Okay. And this is a hide just the drawings. So no drawings. And then this is hide indicators. So this gray box, all this is looking at yesterday's high to low. This is 50% of that range. Okay. 50% of
Oh,
that. And this is the most recent kind of swing high to swing
mhm.
low. This other gray box is 50% of the most recent larger time frame low. I could adjust a little bit. None of these are going to be perfect. That's why I'm making a box, but that's
Mhm.
all it is. Trend line.
Oh, okay.
Um, the trend line itself is looking at the bigger time frame. I like to see this bigger time frame, and then these blue boxes are what we call area of interest. One, two, we've got
Yeah,
two
those are already on my chart.
touches. Come down into here. I would like to see this to come down into here. This is going to be a great target to come take these lows, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Gotcha. And you do all this, the drawing and the trend lines before the market opens, right?
Yeah. So I usually, a lot of the time, I mark up pre-market high and pre-market low.
Mhm.
Um, what else? So pre-market high, pre-market low. Let's go down to the 15-minute to show that. And all
And you
that,
draw it on the 1 hour or the which time do you draw these on?
the 30 minutes probably the best time, is going to give you the best like pre-market time to kind of go in and draw that in.
30 minutes? Okay.
Yep. And the pre-market, if you think about it, all that is from 4 to 9:30, 4 a.m. to 9:30 Eastern. So you're looking for the high of that level and then the low of that level. So in between this time frame, you can make it a box if you want, but I like making it that's weird. I like making it more
And these the red and blue lines, what are those? The
That's what
top
these
of the
are.
market.
So this is yesterday's high and yesterday's low, pre-market high and pre-market low. And there's entire strategies built around that that say, hey, when we break out of yesterday's low, we're only looking for sells. We're looking for a break and a retest and we sell. If we break out of yesterday's or pre-market high, we're looking for buys, right? To the next level. This morning we
Okay.
missed these levels, which I guess is fine, but we missed them fair and square.
So pre-market means just right after London session or Asian session.
The worst part is I've heard people define this as pre-market is, what is it, 8:30 is when it starts. So that is not the actual definition. Pre-market actually starts at 4 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. That is the definition of pre-market. That's not mine. It is literally the definition.
Gotcha. Okay. Appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. But practice marking those up and then look for major, avoid the little flags and trend lines you see all over the internet. Look for the bigger
Mhm.
frame, trend lines if you're going to look. And not just that you're looking for the break or the rejection, but they make great targets. So like this area,
Mhm.
not only it's got confluence here with the 50% from high to high, but it's also got confluence with, kind of coming into this trend line. So it makes it just a really good target. And it gives us a decision point. Because remember, this box or these boxes, let's go back to here, are just decision points. If we break through,
Okay.
we want to keep selling. If we reject off of it, we know we're looking for a buy. And then we can go to a smaller time frame and look for that buy. The same thing to me with trend lines or these 50% moves. It's to be able to say, hey, when price gets around here, I'm looking for, decisions to be made.
So what do these blue boxes represent?
The blue are what I call area of interest. So I'm gonna go here. We're on the 1 hour. Actually, I'm gonna go to ES. So I'm on the 1 hour time frame. I'm gonna normalize it by this little circle on the bottom. So I click on that.
Mhm.
All I'm doing is looking for areas where price has touched and rejected more than once, right? I'm looking for what I refer to as areas of interest. I didn't know until the last few years, also known as order blocks. So think
Mhm.
I'm not looking at this tail, like so just the highs. I'm looking for areas like if this is where price stopped, I'm going to be marking out kind of slightly above this wick, and I'm going to go make this blue area of interest, right? This is where I'm looking for price to get a reaction prior to here. And what that looks like on the line chart is, just so you can see it, it's typically right before the peak. And that
I see.
area is going to be very magnetic. So notice how I didn't even see all these levels, but this area all the way back here, which again, we couldn't see when we drew it, is where we
Mhm.
broke through, came back. We broke through, came back. We got stuck at, there's probably a wick right here. Ooh, I knew it. See? Again, we didn't even know this was, when we drew it only seeing this. But that's how I've learned to see the market. And if I keep going back, this is a significant area, right?
Gotcha.
And how I see that is I'll go up to the 4 hour now. Market selling, we're getting down to 178. So same thing with this level. Okay, so I'm not targeting the peak. So that's for liquidity grabs. I'm not looking for liquidity grabs for area of interest. I'm looking for right below those little peaks. So if this is the tail, I'm looking kind of for that body. And again, it's right before that. And again, if I draw this over, look how much
Right.
price has got stuck in here. Price got
Mhm.
stuck here. I think we're at all-time highs, so there's nothing beyond that. So now these are a little bit far from price, so I need some closer ones. I'm going to go down to the 30-minute. We're at 176, you guys. So again, what am I looking at here? We've got a lot of levels, but I'm going to go, I would go closer to price. I like this one a lot. So if we can get kind of out of here and get below this and stay below this area,
Mhm.
hey, don't be a pain in the butt. Sorry. If we can get below this area and stay below it, I'm looking for sells. If we come back into this and reject back up, I'm looking to take the next level of liquidity, which are next highs.
Oh,
So
nice.
same thing here. So here's our most, we've got a peak here, but I don't want to have too many levels too close. So I'm going to go here. Here's our peak. And if you look to the left, there's other areas. So I like this one a lot. And just so you can see what that looks like on the candles, you'll notice that it kind of falls in line with prior to the wick. It kind of falls in line with the order block concept, which again, I didn't even know what order blocks was until the last few years. It's just how I see the market. Like if everyone is targeting liquidity, I don't want to target liquidity. I wanted to get the area before that as my decision-making points. So that's how I learned to see these areas of interest. It's usually before those little lines, the little wicks. I said lines like 50 times.
What is the black dotted line?
That is yesterday's, so that you can turn on in the settings. I love all these questions. Honestly, come on out with the questions. That's literally what we're here for. 100,000%. But come into here, go to, I do know where it's at, maybe. Session, electronic. Watch me not be able to find it. So countdown for close, I always have that turned on. Previous day close, I have it set to a line, and that's what that line is. So previous day close is this dotted line.
Previous day
So
close.
this is where regular trading hours closed yesterday. Is right here.
And that's, what does that signify? Like,
It's a big deal. So remember everything on the chart, if we literally get rid of everything, all this is levels. Like if there's levels, you're looking for price to go to, through, or from, right? To, through, or from any of these levels. So if today, overnight action, so pretending like we don't see today, let's go to a smaller time frame. I'm gonna go to hide drawings. So, and hide indicators, whatever, hide all. One more time. Overnight, this is where we closed. We kind of broke above it. People are looking for buys. We're staying below it. We're looking for sells. We break above it again. But now this is what the London opened. Since London opened, we've failed to get below yesterday's New York close, which tells us opening range, we're looking for buys. Like, so we knew that, we just didn't buy because ES was selling. Well, this is ES, but because they were all selling down. So we know easily. And then when price is moving, cool. If we start to buy, we're looking for our next liquidity to the upside. That those are our imbalances, our measured moves, our fair value gaps, our yesterday closing range mids, highs, pre-market highs, yesterday's highs. We know where we're targeting. If we start to sell, where's price most likely going? It's going to come tap yesterday's closing price or liquidity, right? Or measured moves. And that's exactly what we got. We came and tapped into the closing price of yesterday, and then we took off. Like literally to the tick. NQ, on the other hand, we hit yesterday's closing price overnight. So I should have considered that when I refused to take this buy, but I did not. That we had already hit yesterday's closing price since London. So since London, we had already hit that level, and then we took off.
and the VWAP, how do you use that for your trading?
That's volume weighted agreed upon price. Got average price. I just say agreed upon. Most people use it as if you're above the VWAP, you're looking for buys. If you're below the VWAP, you're looking for sells. I mean, as plain as that, 100%. If you're above the VWAP, you're only looking for buys. Below the VWAP, you're only looking for sells, and people take bounces off of them. So if we know that there's a lot of, and banks and hedge funds and big people use this. So if you know that a lot of big money makes decisions at the VWAP, it helps you understand.
Stop filled.
Oh, who got a stop filled?
Oh, that was me. That was me. Sorry.
Stop filled. That's okay. But like here, if we know that people are making decisions here, let's say you're taking a JGS entry. So we're moving past the moving average. Let's say MACD is on our side, and it is. Let's say we're taking this sell. Okay. We need a target. Obviously, we can target lows, we can target yesterday closing price, but we can also say, hey, look, I'm going to take this counter trend trade to VWAP. And then we get to VWAP. So now we're bouncing off VWAP. We're getting some rejection. Oh, we get through. So where am I going to go? My target is going to be yesterday's closing price and then lows. We hit the lows and take them. This is a JGS, and this is a counter trend, counter against the VWAP. take it to the VWAP. Once we've taken VWAP, we're taking the next high. This is pre-market chop. We wick down, bounce right out the VWAP, fail to close below the VWAP. We're still buying. This is messy pre-market, but you get the idea. As long as you're
Mhm.
above VWAP, you're only looking for buys. Is what a lot of people do. If you're below VWAP, you're looking for sells, or they're trading to or from it.
And so that's a similar concept to the yellow SMA.
This yellow SMA is the
Yeah.
VWAP.
Oh, what's the white one then?
The
The white.
white line is a moving average cloud. So all it is a really fat, sorry for my lack of better words, it's a really wide moving average. So if I go into this, I like it because it, instead of being a flat line, like, which, let's be honest, sometimes you kind of tap below and above, it just gives me a little more girth that I can now, oh my gosh, we closed below the 20, I have to sell. Well, not really, because we're just really staying within it. So it just gives me that width on this big trending move to not
Mhm.
make the, rejective decisions too quickly. So when the market is thinned out, it's very thin. When the market is moving aggressively, it's wider, which stops me from taking dumb retracement plays that I shouldn't be in, and just gives me a little more confluence. Because it's a little thicker area, and you can make this a 10, so make it really wide, a 5.
Mhm.
Hold on, let me try to make this really wide. Let's do 30, 5 and 30. So you could make this really wide to make it look any way you want, you know? You can do all kinds of cool things with it and change the colors to say, hey, look, if we're above this, I'm going to stay in it. The chop, I stay out. And you'll see a lot of the times it'll work well enough, believe it or not. Like, as long as you're, sorry for the bad view here. Ah, but there you go.
Field.
So you can kind of see, you can do all kinds of different things, but all this is a moving average that is taking multiple moving averages to form a cloud. So it's like the 5 and the 20 or whatever this is set to right now. And you can make it look like this if you'd like. I'm just keeping mine reasonably, thick. What is it? Slim thick? Is that the word? It's slim thick. That's what mine is set to. Slim thick settings right here. I'm far enough away that I like it. It kind of mirrors the 20 with enough width that I'm not getting chopped up too much. I'm far enough away. But you can set that to whatever you want to set it to. And I suggest you do. Like, it sounds like you're kind of finding your what you want to see on the charts, and I think that's the healthiest place ever. Like,
Mhm.
if I were you, just judging by your questions, I'd spend like the next 2 weeks just playing with settings on, 3 to 5 things. So settings on maybe the breakout, settings on a moving average. Uh, I don't mess with the settings on the VWAP, but you can put the bands on if you want to. I don't use them. But whatever you want to do there, I don't like the bands personally. Play with a couple of settings and time frames and symbols to get really comfortable with what you're doing, and then start forward trading kind of the rules that you cultivate based off of that couple of week back test and just getting comfortable.
Okay. Okay. All right. Appreciate it, Miss Jenny.
You are welcome. I appreciate your questions. Honestly, it makes it much more fun. So come on out and ask any questions you guys have got. But guys, I got no trades. We did end up hitting the 174s before the end of that hour. Just a little bit of credit. No. Most of that was just to take out that previous candle low. We're on a brand new 1 hour candle. It's 11 o'clock. We're pushing up. FOMC is going to be late, but it's going to trade or it's going to announce today. I'm not in love with any trades. I don't have any orders on the day. I got the order I had from, I got the little things I have on there that weren't class or anything, one account at a time, but that's all I got. So we know the moves we're looking for. The next 1 hour candle is pushing back up. I'm like, we're still bullish. We've got 54 minutes left on this 1 hour candle to come take out yesterday's high. And then we have all-time highs just above that, which is not that far, 16 points from yesterday's high. So if we're taking yesterday's high, you better believe I think we're taking all-time high, but that's just my opinion. Either way, that's a very feisty move. It's 100 and some odd points to the upside. So for me and mine, I'm out. I missed the buy. I believe I had valid reasons not to be looking at it with ES doing its tear and stuff. I just wasn't as comfortable with it. So no trades on today. No trade day, even though it was a very smooth day. And as always, if you have comments, questions, if you made money, if you didn't make money and said, hey, I did not trade today, I think that would be a healthy post to have to say, hey, I did not take a trade today. Because ain't no one's posting that. So um, if you have questions, comments, let me know. Otherwise, happy Wednesday. I will be back on live tomorrow. I am going to be pushing out the update to automation. So I've been running this update. No, it is not 100%. So a couple of you guys have DM'd me and asked for it, so I am going to give it to you. But withhold and refrain from anything that you need to, fuss. Right now, every single thing to Tradeovate is there's no repeat orders, which is good. We've got a lot of that stuff really well. The stop loss and the take profit are showing up as pending, but they're showing up very far away. However, it will close you at range like it's supposed to. It's just showing up far away. So there's a few little things like that. Otherwise, it's going pretty good. So we'll see how everything goes long term. We are again finishing up a lot of the settings, cleaning up settings, stress testing it to Tradeovate, and really getting it off of that three-part system, mostly because I think the three, four parts is what's causing a lot of the lag, and I think that's a problem. So, but we'll see. Overall, I am running it on 2 Apex accounts now, so I'm kind of excited about that. Again, slow and steady, just in testing phases. But when we're done with this thing, it is going to be awesome. I have actually been started to target New York, which is kind of awesome because New York, the volume is there, the money is there. So it's closing out better there, which is kind of nice. Before that, I was testing mostly overnight. The money's not there, the volume's not there, the move isn't happening enough, which I think was also part of the problem. So I'm targeting New York a little bit, and it's been pretty smooth. So that's all I've got in terms of announcements. I'm going to do a Dragonfly call. I was going to do it tomorrow, but there's a birthday girl, Anna. If you have not done so, please go put that in the chat and wish her a happy birthday. Um, and I will pick a Dragonfly Day webinar call to come soon. The people who are running it are doing really well. I think I'm sitting in 5% ish. I don't know, actually. In five, some odd percent. It's gonna take a second for that VPS to reload. Not very much, 5-10%. It was at 2 for a while. I'm not averaging a whole bunch per month, but I'm also not doing anything and making a bunch of money. So I'm at 6.3% drawdown and I'm up like 7% on the month. So that's not bad in a couple of days. The only reason I'm up 7% on the month so far is because we had the huge moves. So otherwise I wouldn't be up as much. Um, and that's all we got. So happy Wednesday. Have an extraordinary day. Thank you all for being here, and I will see you guys tomorrow.